In this video, I will show you how to add a new variety with its grades and sizes so that the resulting products can be scanned onto pallets. The whole thing will take place within an exported spreadsheet. What I'm showing you here is dependent on two things. You have access to the import-export part of settings in PackShed Pro, and you have a compact grader or our packing stations feeding box information into the software. If PackShed Pro is not receiving box information from a compact grader or our packing stations, then any of the discussion about disambiguation is not relevant to you and can be safely ignored. Alright, on to the content. First of all, some terms that I use and what I mean by them. I will show you examples of each later in the video. Product. A product in this context is a container, usually a box, of fruit containing a specific combination of crop, variety, grade and size. Building a pallet. Here I'm referring to the process of recording in the software the quantity of products that have been physically put onto a pallet. Disambiguation. Simply the process of removing the confusion for the software that easily occurs in the names used when scanning products. Packaging type. This is a tray, carton, box, bin, or some other method of containing the fruit. Packaging. Packaging is what we call a particular variation of a packaging type. Remember that I'll be showing you examples soon, so that sentence will eventually make sense. Here you can see that we are manually recording a pallet, and avo-has is already selected, leaving us to choose the grade and size. Here I'm going to select premium and size 20. This selects for us the product avo-has premium 20 and automatically fills in the default quantity per pallet for this product. If we look at the exported spreadsheet, there, you'll see the corresponding product here. The details of a single product look simple, and it really is. Where it becomes more complex is when you have many products, and especially when you start combining grades and sizes. For this product, we have set the crop to avocado, the variety to Hass, the grades to premium, and the size to 20, all packed into a tray. You'll see several other columns of information here, all of which we're going to ignore in this video. So let's dissect the avo-has premium 20 product so we can learn what parts need to be created and what parts can be reused when adding a new variety. The product's name can be anything you want it to be. Keep in mind that this is what shows on your box labels, unless you're using the box labels that Compact's software produces, on your pallet labels, and in all paperwork related to your pallets, so it should make sense. The product's names can be changed later if you so desire, but the crop, variety, grade and size cannot. This is why you will see those columns are grayed out for existing products. Most sheds will only pack a small number of crops. In this case we have avocado and plum. Now on to varieties. Each variety is specific to one crop. Here you'll see the crop name is exactly as typed in the crop sheet. This particular packing shed has archived two of their varieties. Archiving a variety makes it continue to be available to reports, so historical data is still accurate, but new pallets cannot use archived values. This applies to all items that can be archived. This is where disambiguation starts to become needed. Again, only for when pallets are being built using a barcode scanner. This particular sheet has some good examples of disambiguation. Let's run through them one at a time. An empty cell at G2. This means there is no disambiguation data saved not shaved, saved for the Shepherd variety, making it impossible to scan. That's not a problem here, as the Shepherd variety is archived anyway. A disambiguation value in G3. When Compaq, or our packing stations, send box-related data, they will send this Hass avocado value whenever the variety is Hass. Disambiguation values in both G5 and H5. In this case, both fortune with a full stop and fortune with no full stop are mapped to the fortune variety. You can add as many disambiguation values as you want, as long as they are in separate cells and there's no empty cell in between. Now, disambiguation values in G10, H10, G11 and H11. On the face of it, this is the same as the previous example for the fortune variety, but instead there are two rows with the same disambiguation values. Now, you see how row 10's variety is archived? Without it being archived, it would have been impossible to add row 11, as we cannot have multiple rows in the one sheet with the same disambiguation value. Generally, you wouldn't create a variety, or anything really, only to archive it and create an exact duplicate. If you do, however, it is not catastrophic, as it will only affect your reports, and then only in specific circumstances. Not by showing wrong data, but by showing the two identically named items separately, and you would have to add the two up to get the actual total of that item. Moving on to grades. The first thing to notice here is that grades are not tied to any particular crop or variety. Each grade can be applied to as few or as many varieties as needed. The exact same concepts apply here to the names and disambiguation values as they do to varieties. In this sheet, you'll see that the disambiguation starts to get more involved, as some grades have obviously been combined at some point. Sizes. Again, the sizes are not linked directly to any one crop, variety or grade. You will, however, see that they are linked to a specific packaging. For example, size 30 can either be in a tray, you see here on row 16, or in a carton, which is on row 48. And both have the name 30. Of course, the disambiguation values must be different between the two, or the software would not know which one you're needing when scanning. The sheet actually has some odd disambiguation values, as several of them are repeated within a size. For example, at 30 and 30. Repeating a disambiguation value in a row like this doesn't cause any issues, but it doesn't do anything helpful either. Some more apparent weirdness is shown in the disambiguation values on row 48. This is another way in which disambiguation can be used, when staff don't pay enough attention and they enter different things for the same value. For example, 30, CTN, and then 30 CTN without the comma. When they enter these differences into the Compaq software, it is possible to add an additional disambiguation value and then scan all boxes on a pallet without having to re-sticker every box on that pallet. We'll briefly touch on packaging and packaging types, as they're needed in this process, but you are unlikely to need to change them often. In our example sheet, you can see that both tray and bulk use the tray packaging type. This is a completely valid way of doing things, and although in this sheet you can see that bulk has been archived, you can see the important difference between the two, other than the name, is the expected weight of each product that uses this packaging. The rest of the packaging rows are pretty obvious, so I'll move on to the only part of packaging types there that I feel needs explaining, the count by weight column. For most packaging types, this value will be set to N for no. But when a product is counted by weight, for example, a half-ton bin of avocados or pumpkins, it needs to be set to Y for yes. None of the products in our example export are packed into bins, so I can't show you exactly what it looks like, but manually building a pallet in the software is done in exactly the same way as shown earlier. So let's put it all together by heading to the product sheet again. If I've explained clearly enough, columns C through G should now make sense. There are 3 rows I would like to specifically show you. Row 4, our favourite. Avo Hass Premium 20. This is the product we manually added to the new pallet, which is here. So that one, Avo Hass Premium 20. Go back to products. So row 20 is the next one I wanted to show you. Where are we? Avo Hass Comp 30. The crop, variety and grade are quite obvious, but I'd like to point out that the size is 30 tray, thus referring to, on the size sheet, where are we? Size sheet, row 16 on this one. Here we go, 30 tray, and that, as we saw on the packaging, defaults to 5.5, or average of 5.5 kilos. Going back to products, row 40. Avo Hass Comp 30 carton. You'll see the cartons, switching to the packaging sheet, there we are, weigh on average 10 kilograms. There. When setting information in compact software, you need to set the right information or your box stickers won't scan. Let's use those same 3 products to see what you would need to set in compact software. There. Avo Hass Premium 20 excuse me, requires that the variety is set to Hass Avocado. The varieties, Hass Avocado, there we go, disambiguation is Hass Avocado. The grade is set to premium, go here to premium. So the grade can be set to premium or, in this case, class 1, premium. Both will scan as premium. And the size needs to be set to the number 20. 20, and disambiguation is 20. Now, Avo Hass Comp 30, let's go back to that. Avo Hass Comp 30, avocado, Hass, so it's the same variety, so it would still be set to Hass Avocado. And the grade is composite, so if we go to grades, have a look composite. So grade would need to be set in compact software as either composite, class 2, composite, premium, or composite, premium. All of those would scan as composite. And the size is set to the number 30. Size 30 tray, so disambiguation is 30. Avo Hass Comp 30 carton, there we are. Now that requires the same variety and grade, but for this product the size needs to be set, sizes, so this is going to be a size of 30 carton. So disambiguation, so this, what's set in the compact software needs to be set to 30,32 or 30ctn, 32 or 30,ctn or 30ctn. Now remember that for any of your changes in the spreadsheet to be applied to the software, you need to import it via the Settings Import Export menu item. Please let us know if you have any questions or comments, preferably in the comments section of this video, so that everybody can take advantage of the questions and the answers. Thanks for watching.